Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Shooting the with Yankee. As always, I'm Yankee, so let's start shooting. Today, I just want to know how you think we should handle the protests / riots going on in California and apparently other places right now. Do you think they're big enough that we really need to step in and do something major? How do you protect people's right to protest if you do that? Or do you think they're just not that big a deal? Let them fizzle out. This is being turned into a big political event. I want to know what your opinions are one way or the other. Let me know. I'll start us off by saying I think it's really exaggerated, the risk and what's going on. There's no sign of a government overthrow or a foreign invasion here. In fact, as I've been doing research today to do this broadcast, I was looking at pictures of the big protests. This is like the biggest one, they said. And this is in front of one of the federal buildings. And this is not big. And it only goes to over here. It teeters out real big there and teeters out real heavy over there. And there's a street back here. That's not a major protest. I've seen bigger gun rallies than that. And those don't tend to get real big. So that one doesn't scare me too much. So I started thinking, well, let's look for another one. And this was one of the ones they said was one of the more dangerous ones. And this was around, I forget what this building is, but it's something that they don't like. Let's see, what was it? If I can close that there. This is around, I don't know what this is, but this was one of the ones they were saying where they were having huge crowds assemble. That don't look like a huge crowd to me. And LA's a big place. So it seems to me like they're being exaggerated. And from prior experience, I've seen that happen in person. Like when the CHOP was going on in Seattle and they're like, the city is burning down. I'm like, there's a 1 block area here that's cordoned off and they're basically having a street party. The crowds of which were bigger at the CHOP than those crowds you saw there, just so you know. I am starting to think this is more of a political move than anything else. And they should probably just be allowed to teeter out unless someone is actually burning cars and I've seen the pictures of the burning cars and stuff. It turned out some of them were not from America. Some of the pictures I saw, but saw the ones that were, and they appear to mostly be at night in very questionable areas. And it doesn't look like there's very many police around. So I'm like, why aren't they cracking down on that? That should be cracked down on. People have a right to protest. That needs to be protected. People do not have a right to riot. They don't have a right to destroy public property. They don't have a right to destroy private property. They do have a right, in my opinion, to engage in civil disobedience as long as no one gets hurt from that civil disobedience. And I'm talking harmed, not just like, oh, I had to go block out of my way because they blocked the street. Well, big fucking deal. Or I was 20 minutes late because they blocked. I don't give a shit. Freedom is worth that cost. That small cost to you is worth it for freedom. I'm sorry. But like I said, you really got to, how do we protect protesters and how do we arrest rioters? And that's really kind of a difficult thing to do. I'm not the expert on it. So I hope to hear some good examples from what you all think over here. Let me get over here and say, Gummy Wuzzle said, how? Zoloft, THC, and John Barleycorn. I don't think most people want that, but I guess we could. How are we going to get them to take it? Are we going to trick them? We're going to put it in like free tacos or something? Because everybody will eat free tacos. Maybe we put it in from free tacos. John M. Mandrick chimed in, said, let it play out. Keep the curfew. Arrest looters. Leave the peaceful ones alone. No way to stop ICE, even though Orange now wants the ones working in the fields and construction left alone. Yeah, but now I like that. Oh, we're all after them illegal aliens, except less, of course, my voters need them and the big corporate farms need them. Yeah, that's not going to happen. It is going to happen. They're going to stop going after the corporate farmers because, and that's who needs it most, the corporate farms. They're the ones complaining because, hey, we're not able to run our billion-dollar industry here because you took away our cheap labor. It's like one of the guys that I saw this commercial and it was from a guy who was supposedly a small, farmer in, I think it was Iowa, that guy was the general manager of the farm, and the farm is owned by DuPont. So I'm like, no, you're not some little small-time farmer. And I think the Democratic Party put him up to that, actually, because I think that's more of a, oh, feel sorry for the small guy. I don't really feel sorry for the big DuPont's farms. Sean Bain said, let it fizzle out. It will. It most definitely will. Or it'll reduce to a point where it's nothing but looters and rioters and hanger-ons. And then you go in and you sweep out the vermin after the actual protesters are gone. Because real protesters have got other places to go, other things to do. If they're activists, if they're just people showing up because they care, they got work to go to eventually. And eventually, just like it happened up at the CHOP, you end up with nothing left but the hangers-on, the losers, the parasites, and then you wander in and you sweep those away. And no one cares at that point. Mr. Furley says, prioritize public safety, homes, and small businesses. Yeah, I think they are doing that, I would hope. Or else sometimes they don't. Sometimes they hope it happens so that they can get political hay out of it. They love to see businesses burn. John Heasley said they should throw Newsom out of office. Well, I think he was democratically elected. And his approval rating right now is soaring. So I don't think that's going to happen. His approval rating is going up. In fact, that's why they said, we should go arrest him. I'm like, no. If the president sent someone in right now to arrest Gavin Newsom, the legally, lawfully elected leader of California, who is probably right about whether Trump should have had the authority to mobilize the National Guard or not, it's looking like more and more that, yeah, he's right. There is no threat of insurrection. There is no foreign invasion. So if they arrested him, that would just be ensuring Gavin Newsom, what's the next election? 2028. So, and I don't want that. I'd rather have a good choice. Not that there's going to be, but I'd rather have a better choice than him on both sides. Practical Bacon says, arrest rioters and looters, let protesters protest. Exactly. Unless someone's actually breaking the law, don't fuck with them. Johnny Mandrick said, did you send the links to Never Enough Ammo? I did. We'll see if he shows up. G-Web's got it. He's here. Iowa Joe says the military should stay out of it. California can handle it. Remember states' rights, after all. People only seem to believe in state rights when the state's doing what they want them to do, not when the state's not. Like, if the state is banning something they want banned, and the federal government steps in, well, then they're mad. If the state is banning something they don't want banned and the federal government steps in, they're like, yay, federal government. That's how it's supposed to work. So people are very picky, choosy, very about that. Hypocritical, I should say. Edgar Cortez said, think we should let the police do their job and not bring in the National Guard unless the governor requests it. Yeah. And if they're doing anything, they should just be guarding like maybe not private businesses, but federal buildings. You can justify that. But we need the private businesses protected too. Although I haven't seen a lot of protests at private business areas. They seem to be at federal buildings and other such locations so far. I haven't seen a lot of it seems like the people looting businesses are in a separate location and they're getting away with it. And this quite often happens. They're, very opportunistic. So if they know, hey, all the police are on the other side of town with this protest, we're going to go to this side of town and pillage and loot. And then they get away with it because there's no police presence over there. Ghost Shadow says, had to email my comment. YouTube blocked my comment. Let's see. Should be free to shoot anyone throwing Molotov cocktails or throwing bricks off of overpasses. Nope. The government never has the right to just execute people for a crime that does not. That's fascist bullshit. You don't give the government the right to execute people before they've even been proven guilty of a crime, because then they could just shoot someone and said, hey, he threw a Molotov cocktail. Oh, he threw a brick off an overpass, so we shot him in the head. Might turn out later he never threw anything off an overpass. Either they got the wrong guy or they intentionally just shot somebody they wanted to. So you don't give the government that kind of leeway. Go Shadow. Idiot Ferguson just signed a bill that employers cannot cooperate with ICE. Employers should be able. Well, here's the thing, though. If they're hiring illegal aliens, they probably don't want to cooperate with ICE. The ones that are like, I don't hire illegals. Well, they don't need to cooperate with ICE because ICE don't need nothing to do with them. It's the ones that are profiting off illegal alien labor that would not want to cooperate with ICE. So I think that's more of just a shield for that is a shield for the big industries that are hiring illegals who want a shield when they go to court to say, hey, we were told by law we couldn't help. And that's really just a shield for them, a political shield. Or a legal shield. So believe me, the businesses wanted that. Heavy J, I'm fine with protesting. I don't know. I bet you don't go protest much. I hate it when the dreads try to latch onto big groups and try to create a mob to incite violence, right or left leaning. I think you meant feds, maybe. But yeah, I hate that too. And I hate when they also encourage like, hey, all you rednecks and Proud Boys and everything, you need to go here and show these people what's right. Yeah, that's sending people to commit crimes because you think other people are committing crimes, whether they are or they not. And that's not a good idea. That's fanning the flames. Go Shadow said, this is our last person weighing in, Go Shadow here. And he said, I did not say government. Well, no, you don't ever give private citizens the right to shoot anybody. That is for committing a crime, unless it's a threat to them or their well-being. Now, if someone threw a brick on my car, well, then you probably wouldn't be justified shooting them because if you manage to be safe and get out and go after them, then you're probably not allowed to execute people for crimes you think should deserve an execution because they don't. Not a single one of them that got arrested for throwing bricks on vehicles would get the death penalty. And you enacting the death penalty makes you a criminal. Or throwing a Molotov cocktail. Unless they were like throwing it into your house or your business. Well, then, yeah, shoot them. But if they're just on the street throwing a Molotov cocktail, you don't get to just go out and shoot them, especially if that cocktail's not any danger to you. But as I said, seems like a lot of people here just think let it fade away because it's going to fade away. And I agree. I think it would probably already been faded away by now if they hadn't made as big a deal out of it as they did and try to make it a big deal and try to get political hay out of it, just like they did like during the George Floyd things, made it political and blah, 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 and couldn't believe anybody or you couldn't even be bothered to care really because it got so political. But nice to hear what people think. How about you out in YouTube land? What do you think? How should we handle these situations down there? How do you get rid of the rioters and the looters while still protecting the right to protest? Or do you not value the right to protest very much? Do you think just round them all up, bust them all up, throw tear gas, rubber bullets? What do you think? Let me know in the comment section below. Look forward to hearing from you. Thanks to everybody over here that weighed in. And if you want to weigh in out there, come to one of our live chats. We hold them every night at 6 p.m. Hope to see you at one soon. Until then, remember, always carry and stay safe until I see you again. Hey everybody, Yankee here. Before we go, I just want to take a second to remind everyone that this channel is 100% viewer funded. We don't take a penny from advertisers, retailers. We don't take money from political organizations. There's no one telling me what I need to tell you. Everything that we do is done through the generosity of our viewers, either buying merchandise or becoming a patron or a Subscribe Star member. You're all the ones that support Pets and Vets and TYMP. And that's the reason I can stay true to myself and loyal only to the people who watch my channel. And I can spend my time talking about what I want to talk about, telling what I think needs to be said, and giving you my uncensored take on things I think you need to hear. So if you'd like to help keep things that way, please support the channel by becoming a patron, a Subscribe Star supporter, or just going over to my web store and buying some merch. The links are all in the upper corner of this video.